Hello, dear friends. There is no doubt that the world is in an uproar this Tuesday, the 13th, and this will have consequences. Opinion piece, regime change, peasant revolt, tensions and conflicts, new solar storm, dragon flares, election year in turmoil, lack of qualified workers. Let's start. A regime change is the replacement of one regime for another. A regime is a set of common characteristics in the development of something, a set of rules by which an institution, an entity, an activity, or a political or financial system is governed. It can refer to changes in the political, economic, or social sphere. For example, in the political sphere, it refers to the change from one system of government to another. In the economic sphere, it can refer to changes in financial policies or in the behavior of the markets. It is important to highlight that regime changes can have significant consequences on the life of the population and on political, economic, and social development. It can also generate tensions and conflicts, as well as opportunities for the establishment of new, more representative and fair forms of government, depending on the circumstances and the direction taken during the transition. And every crisis is an opportunity for improvement. Science. According to Benjamin Fulford, there is no doubt now that regime change is occurring in the Western world. Signs of this include King Charles' illness, Joe Biden's implosion, the ouster of the US Defense Secretary, and Putin's interview. Several dozen new agencies around the world want to interview Putin, making it clear that it is ending the campaign to demonize Russia. Sources say Princess Anne will later become the de facto British monarch by acting as a regent for Prince William's 10-year-old son George. Anna is a good person who has worked with the White Hats for quite some time. The peasant revolt of farmers across Europe, now spreading to places like Canada and India, is another sign of this regime change. Revolt. The farmers' revolt threatens to disrupt the election year around the world. What began as quiet discontent over the US strict agricultural policies has now spread across Europe and become a serious domestic issue, threatening a deeper fracture between governments and their borders. In recent months, farmers in European nations have protested policies pursued by officials in the bloc that harm local farm workers. To express their outrage, protesters are blocking roads and dumping waste in front of government buildings to draw attention to their problems. Farmers are protesting against increasing financial burdens, poorly regulated agricultural imports, rising fuel prices, and other adverse EU measures in the sector. The demonstrations question the coherence of the EU's agricultural policy as it stands today, especially amid rising military spending and billions of euros earmarked for foreign targets. Curious. A farmer with many children from Canada moved his entire family to Russia because he doesn't want his children to grow up and live in a gender confused environment. The Calm Gene Energy of the Year of the Rabbit in 2023 has been replaced by the Young Energy of the Wooden Dragon beginning on February 10th, 2024, when we welcomed the Lunar New Year, a 15-day celebration that ends with the Festival of the Flashlight. As we enter the Year of the Dragon, we can expect the traits of the dragon, which are confidence and strength to reign supreme, giving us the energy we need this year. The US is hitting an ET ship The size of a football field, in quotes, as revealed by former intelligence officer David Grush in a meeting attended by 60 people in a New York City penthouse. Scientists detect mysterious rings around space rock. Elon Musk says SpaceX spacecraft should reach the moon in less than 5 years. Solar storm. Solar radiation storm is in effect this Tuesday, February 13th. It all started Monday when an explosion in the southwestern corner of the sun spewed a storm of protons toward Earth. 24 hours later, they're still coming. The storm is rich in hot protons, is causing a shortwave radio blackout within the Arctic Circle and affecting the cameras of some satellites in Earth orbit. Cannibal storm. Since February 7th, the sun has launched multiple coronal mass ejections into space. A handful of them could crash into Earth this week. There are at least 3 solar storm clouds. There is a possibility that these waves will accumulate to form a cannibal storm. Cannibal waves often contain strong shocks and enhanced magnetic fields that cause geomagnetic storms. If such an accumulation occurs, the combined impact could cause a strong geomagnetic storm with auroras in mid-latitudes. Economy. The rise in international freight costs harms the economy. Turkey and Russia study alternatives to the SWIFT system. Real estate problems are accumulating for U.S. regional banks. Bitcoin breaks $50,000 for the first time since late 2021, and spot ETF inflows accelerate. Bitcoin's rebound does not resolve the biggest concerns about cryptocurrencies. A Bitcoin ETF, or exchange traded fund, is an investment fund that is listed on the stock exchange and tracks the price of Bitcoin. It allows investors to gain exposure to the value of Bitcoin without owning the cryptocurrency directly, through a product that can be easily bought and sold on traditional stock markets. USA. Warren Buffett says that financial inequality is not a diabolical plot by billionaires to monopolize the country's wealth, and proposes some solutions. If not that, what is it then? More than 80% of Americans citizens consider Biden too old for another term, according to ABC News. 42% of Americans believe that Trump would run the economy better, according to the Financial Times. Trump asks the Supreme Court to suspend the ruling that denies his presidential immunity. Europe. European leaders seek to protect themselves against the possible return of Donald Trump. The EU decides to withhold income from Russian assets in favor of Ukraine. It is dangerous to touch the Russian bear's nose. Germany on the brink of ruin thanks to the energy war against Russia. European demand for oil further drives up the price of African crude oil. The heads of the European Bank rub shoulders with important personalities in a secret forum. Labour shortage. Throughout the EU, there is a shortage of qualified workers in various sectors of the economy and at different levels of qualification. Be careful. You will work piece rate full-time and indefinitely if your contract does not specify your working conditions, according to the Spanish Ministry of Labor. Americas. Weapons sent to Ukraine end up in the hands of Mexican cartels, report reveals. Mexico's Department of Defense seeks to investigate how cartels acquired high-quality American weapons. Milei and Meloni establish a new strategic relationship between Argentina and Italy. Milei's approach to Pope Francis may backfire. Charles Moore author of Matter in 33rd Degree, and researcher of Vatican Freemasonry, has revealed impressive new details of Pope Francis' maneuvers. The Colombian Ministry of Justice declares a prison emergency. Bolivia is carried away by the Brazilian growth engine. French Guiana mobilizes for independence. War rumors. The international community urges Israel to stop the attacks in Rafah. Aerospace Command detected two Russian aircraft near Alaska. Space Force says China and Russia are hitting offensive satellites. China is making spectacular progress in its hypersonic missile program, turning these next-generation weapons into missiles that fly so fast that no defense can stop them. Russia presents a neural network of drones to detect NATO equipment in a special operations zone. Two U.S. military bases located on natural oil and gas fields are under fire in eastern Syria. Tucker Carlson believes that Ukraine cannot defeat Russia even with millions from the West. Police discover a nuclear missile in a garage in Washington state. The French Navy fires million-dollar missiles at ship Houthi drones in the Red Sea. The British Army would exhaust its capacity after only 2 months of war. A court prohibits the Netherlands from supplying spare parts to Israel for the F-35 fighters. Health. The white that we demand in our teeth does not exist in nature. Humans have 238 genes that are not found in any other form of life. Suspicions of forced organ harvesting in China include a long list of missing teenagers. Tea slows down old age. Drinking 3 cups of tea a day seems to delay aging, suggests study published in The Lancet. Keys to Sardinian longevity diet to live 100 years. Little meat and local and organic foods. Meat is used sparingly, and much of the food in Sardinia is locally grown and generally free of pesticides, hormones, dyes, and sugars. They also have their own garden where they grow lettuce, tomatoes, basil, parsley, and pumpkins. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.